Hey folks, I'm Tervain Glory, and welcome to part 2 of my Bobruisk campaign in Steel Division 2. So, the first part, we began our assault in Bobruisk, and we smashed into the rear here, hit a recce battalion, an HQ, and motorised infantry battalion with motorised infantry of our own, plus our tank brigade. So we pushed them aside quite easily, fallen back in disorganisation. So I think the next thing to do is to try and wipe out the tanks that are trapped on the side of the river. So if we move, actually do I need to move them? Yeah, I think I'll move them here just so they're on the road. But we'll make the attack with this armoured group here. So we have T-34-85s throughout, that's fine. And here we have anti-tank rifles, anti-tank gun. And anti-tank rifles are in the squads as well. Okay, so that's not as weak as I had expected. We don't have much artillery again, but probably get by with mortars. And this 3 is good. Okay, well, let's make this attack and see how we get on. What's the attack with both of these? Do I want to bring in the... what do we have? Probably not, that's just mortars. Artillery observer. Yeah. No, I don't think we want to bring in HQ for this. We'll go with the motorised rifle brigades. Okay, let's go ahead. And their artillery's going to join in. That's fine. Let's fight the battle. And I'm going to command the tanks again. Okay, so here's our battlefield. I'm coming in on the right flank. So I plan to cross this bridge and move up, seize this hill here. And then push up through here into these crossroads, and then from there maybe swing into the centre. I'm going to put a smaller force up this road just to make sure that that area is clear. My ally has spread out, they're coming in across all these roads. I'm not expecting too much help from them, but we'll see how we go. So let's start off with a platoon of T-34s. I've got a ZIS-3 and some infantry and recce troops, mostly recce. It's actually recce infantry rather than mechanised infantry. So we advance up over the bridge, heading towards the town with the church, just below the hill there. And I've got 2 recce units in motorcycle sidecars. Advance up and over on the right hand side they spot some units in the forest. There's a Marder 3, a Führer unit, and mechanised infantry, Panzer Grenadiers. So the Marder doesn't open up on our recce troops, and they manage to get up into positions to keep an eye out. We've also got an infantry unit over on the left hand side. My recce infantry comes in and it's M2 half track. The Marder elects not to shoot at it, which is good. So they pass through unmolested and they're going to take up position in the church. The next unit I have coming in is my ZIS-3. I want to get that into the woods and try and get that to get a bead on the Marder. So the Marder decides it is going to shoot at that high value target and Fortunately, it doesn't get a direct hit. And the poor artilleryman having to push this into the woods. My T-34s are on the way, they're not too far behind, but the Marder takes out one of the recce units. Must have lost sight of the Zis, I think. The Zis has now got into position and it fires at the Marder. Gets a hit but doesn't penetrate. So now it becomes a race, who's going to get the next shot off. Zis fires and again doesn't penetrate. The Marder returns fire. Near miss again. So the T-34s are now in position. And they let off a volley at the Marder. It's a bit lucky to start with anyway. Gets another shot in on the Zis 3 and I decide the Zis has had enough and I order it to withdraw. I could have left it there without, well, I've just pulled it back without actually giving it withdraw orders. The T-34s are going to take out the Marder soon enough. So the Marder's disabled and destroyed actually. We've got more units spotted coming in, but the tanks for now focus on the Panzer Grenadiers, make short work of them, and then they turn their attention to the Führer unit. Just these still pulling back, it's got a 30-second fallback order. So I'm now bringing in my command T-34 and a scout car. And with all the units in that forest now either destroyed or fallen back, we can move forward. Also push up onto the high ground to the left and we spot an assault gun up on the slope there. So T-34s advance along the road. The scout car pushes its way past, but the tanks get into position to spot the assault gun in the reverse slope. The assault gun does get a shot off first, but it's high explosive, it's not got the power to penetrate the T-34, and it takes out the German unit. Now we can push forward again. So the ground's entirely clear ahead of us now, apart from in the forest here when we spot more infantry. We've got a motorcycle sidecar and a half-track up on the hill there. They engage the infantry, but it manages to take out the sidecar, motorcycle sidecar. But the tanks down in the low ground have got a bead on the infantry and they help out the half-track. So that unit survives for quite a while, takes casualties and falls back. It just keeps recovering its morale once it's in cover, but we do keep pursuing it, pushing it back. Over on the right hand side you can see that there's must be some units to the right of the river. Germans still hold all that ground, but I've brought my units over the bridge to advance up the road to the left hand side of the river and focus on the right hand side of it later on. So the unit in the centre here that we just attacked in the woods is recovering its morale. You can tell by the front line marker expanding again. We spot another unit over in the right flank, and it's a motorcycle sidecar that spotted it. Tried to pull that back out of harm's way, but left it too late. So we've got another scout car and a half-track with some infantry, so we were able to get them to focus on that unit. I think it was a Führer unit or a SPA troop. So you can see we've rediscovered the infantry in the forest. They're falling back again. We've now got a T-34 up in the high ground along with the half-track. And the T-34 has a few shots at the retreating Germans. We've got another recce unit coming in on the right hand side to go and explore there, see what's up. But we're advancing quite nicely. And there are a few units left in the forest, but I think there's nothing of any real note in there. A Führer unit decides to break cover and try and cross the open ground. The T-34 up on the high ground, make short work of them. And the advance continues. So I'm pushing my tanks up in the gap between the forests. I'm just going to make sure that the forest on either side is clear and move them up and give them good cover from the flanks. So over on the left hand side, my ally has pushed forward. There's an isolated, well, there's 3 units up by the crossroads and a salient there. And they're not going to survive long. It looks like they're being encircled again, and they're out of contact with the rest of their units. But for me, things are going pretty smoothly so far. There's no enemy contacts to our front. We're able to push our infantry into the woods, and the half-track and the tank continue advancing up along the high ground. Still got Germans over to the right of the river I need to deal with. So bringing a T-34 over there. We'll bring in some more recce troops. We spot a lone German. This is from the unit we've been attacking since early on. The T-34 in the half-track. Let him pull back into the forest there unmolested. Don't know why they didn't. I guess they didn't think he was high enough value to shoot at him. But we got another German assault gun coming into the settlement just ahead of us. But we've got plenty of tanks advancing up there to deal with that. So we discover another unit in this forest to the right. It's another SPA troop. But we've got a couple of scout cars, we've got a half-track on the right to the forest, and we've got a couple of units of infantry moving through the forest. So they just lay down heavy fire. And the German unit is wiped out in short order. So over on the right, my T-34's on the way in. My ally sent in a couple of half-tracks with infantry, but they decide for some reason to cross the river. So I'm going to hold the T-34 back until I get my own troops up there to support it. We're still sort of clear ahead, so the T-34s can advance up through this gap between the forests. There's a half-track there as well. And the T-34 and half-track up on the hill continue to advance. We're now reaching the edge of this forest, and we spot the assault gun. We've also got a couple of German units appeared over to the right hand side. But for now, target the assault gun and take it out, and continue pushing forward. On the right hand side we had a half-track and a Panzer Grenadier unit. So our half-track opens up on them and manages to force the German half-track to retreat. I send the scout car over there in that direction just to lend a bit more firepower, just in case they decide to return. So this lone German managed to survive, and he's in the forest ensconced in there. We're concentrating on another unit further back and force it to pull back. And one of my infantry units comes out of the forest to go and capture this guy. But as they advance across this open ground, there's a couple of half-tracks in the rear providing support, and they open up, so these guys just decide to halt, go to ground, and let the half-tracks deal with the lone German. Seems a bit of overkill, but I guess they've got to earn their corn somehow. So over on the right, my allies pushed forward and discovered another couple of German units to the right hand side of the river. I'm still more concerned with the bulge just ahead of my T-34 next to this forest. It's not very big yet, so I guess it's just a single unit that's in there. But we've pushed right forward quite well now, and I've got my infantry and a recce unit advancing up to support the T-34. So the recce unit will go up, circle the forest, and I'm going to send the infantry through the forest and try and flush out whatever it is that we've got there. So you can see there's no real German presence there, so they must only have a single unit. There's quite a number of German units up to the rear, and we spotted a tank coming in, but this recce unit comes round the forest, slowly turns, and then is blown up by an anti-aircraft gun. So we've got the infantry pushing through the forest. Hopefully they'll be able to take out that half-track before it manages to take them out. Flank guns can be quite dangerous against single infantry squads, but managed to do the job. And remembering that if there's a German tank over to the right, I decide to start sending the T-34s over and see if we can deal with it. Turns out to be a captured Stalin, which obviously is going to be a big ask, but the range isn't too great, less than 1,000 yards, so I'm hoping that the 3 T-34s might be able to do something against it. Unfortunately, the way that they advance, there's only the one T-34 actually gets line of sight. So again, it comes down to who gets the first shot off. And it's a T-34, but it bounces as you'd expect, and the Stalin's return shot just wide. So the other T-34 trying to rush that over to lend support. And they've got the command T-34 coming in just to the rear as well. But another bounce off the Stalin, and it's beginning to look a bit bleak. So I decide to give it one more chance. Unfortunately that turns out to be a bad idea, and I lose a T-34. So command tank immediately is ordered to pull back into cover. I knew that would get one shot off from the other T-34, but that bounces as well, so that tank's pulled back into cover as well. And that ends up being the last real action of the battle. So you can see that the Germans only have 5 victory points remaining. So it gets to this point, and it's not so much a surrender as just the battle ends. And we only lost, from my units, we only lost 1 T-34 and some recce troops. We only encountered the one tank, the Butte Stalin, and we couldn't do much against that at all with our T-34s. I couldn't get our ZIS into action either. But overall, a good result. Although having said that, it's now fallen back towards its infantry. I'm now wishing I had kept a battalion back here that I could have attacked it again. Never mind, we'll have to do something about that later. So, time for another break, I think. I might turn our attention up here in the next part. Maybe try and smash this artillery. And then we can swing up to ASUSTeK. So we'll do that next time out. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and hope to see you again next time. Cheers!